The world stood still on March 21, 2025, as news spread of the passing of George Foreman, a man who was more than just a boxing legend. He was a champion, a preacher, a businessman, and a mentor to many. Foreman was not just known for his incredible punches inside the ring, but for his unshakable faith, resilience, and ability to reinvent himself time and time again. His life was a journey of struggles, triumphs, and redemption, making him one of the most fascinating figures in sports history. His funeral was a moment of reflection, not just on his achievements, but on the values he stood for. Athletes, celebrities, world leaders, and millions of fans mourned the loss of a true legend. But who was George Foreman beyond the fame and success? What lessons did his life teach us? Today, we take a deep look at his journey, his legacy, and the impact he left behind. Born on January 10, 1949, in Marshall, Texas, George Foreman's early years were filled with struggles and hardships. Raised in Houston, he grew up in a poor neighborhood where crime and violence were part of daily life. As a child, he had a hot temper and often got into street fights. School never interested him, and by the time he was a teenager, he had dropped out and found himself heading toward a troubled path. However, a turning point came when he joined the Job Corps, a government program that helped troubled youth find a purpose. It was there that he met Doc Broadus, a boxing coach who saw potential in him. Boxing became Foreman's escape, his way out of a difficult life. He trained hard, learning to channel his raw power into disciplined aggression. Soon, it became clear George Foreman wasn't just another fighter, he was a force of nature. Foreman's talent was undeniable, and within a short time, he made it to the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. He entered the games as an underdog, but what he did in the ring shocked the world. At just 19 years old, he dominated every opponent he faced, using his incredible strength to knock them down. In the final match, he defeated Ioannis Chapoulis of the Soviet Union to win the gold medal in heavyweight boxing. After the fight, Foreman did something unusual. He grabbed a small American flag and waved it proudly. At a time when the U.S. was facing racial tensions and political unrest, this simple act made a statement. George Foreman was proud of his country, and he wanted to represent hope and unity. This victory launched his professional boxing career, and what followed was nothing short of destruction. After turning professional, Foreman quickly became known as the most feared boxer in the world. With his brutal punching power and aggressive style, he knocked out opponents in record time. His fights didn't last long. Most boxers couldn't handle his force. Then, in 1973, he faced the undefeated Joe Frazier, the reigning heavyweight champion. Frazier had previously defeated Muhammad Ali, so many thought he would handle Foreman. They were wrong. In a fight that lasted less than 2 rounds, Foreman knocked down Frazier 6 times, winning by TKO and becoming the new heavyweight champion of the world. It was a terrifying display of power. Commentator Howard Cosell's famous words still echo in boxing history. Down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. At just 24 years old, Foreman was the undisputed king of boxing. Many believed he was unstoppable. 1 year later, in 1974, Foreman was challenged by Muhammad Ali in what would become one of the most legendary fights in history, the Rumble in the Jungle. Foreman was younger, stronger, and the heavy favorite. Everyone believed he would destroy Ali just like he did with Frazier. But Ali had a different plan. He introduced a strategy called rope-a-dope, where he leaned against the ropes, allowing Foreman to throw heavy punches while conserving his own energy. Foreman punched relentlessly, but Ali absorbed the damage, waiting for the right moment. By the 8th round, Foreman was exhausted, and Ali saw his chance. With lightning speed, Ali delivered a powerful combination, knocking Foreman down for the first time in his career. It was over. Foreman had lost his title. It was a devastating defeat, one that changed him forever. The loss haunted Foreman. Over the next few years, his career declined. Then in 1977, after losing to Jimmy Young, something happened that changed his life forever. Foreman later said that in the locker room after the fight, he had a near-death experience. He claimed to have seen visions of hell and felt a divine presence. This moment led him to quit boxing immediately and dedicate his life to God. He became a Christian preacher, opened a church in Houston, and started working with underprivileged kids. For many years, boxing was no longer part of his life, or so everyone thought. In 1987, at the age of 38, Foreman made an announcement that shocked the world. He was returning to boxing. People laughed. He was overweight, slow, and far past his prime. No one believed he could succeed, but Foreman proved everyone wrong. With experience and patience, he fought his way back to the top. In 1994, at the age of 45, he faced Michael Moorer, the young heavyweight champion. Foreman was losing every round, but then, in the 10th round, he landed a perfect right hand to Moorer's jaw. Moorer collapsed. George Foreman was the heavyweight champion of the world. Again, at 45 years old, he became the oldest heavyweight champion in history, proving that age is just a number. Foreman's success wasn't just in boxing. He became a global icon when he introduced the George Foreman grill in the 1990s. The product was an instant instant hit, selling over 100 million units worldwide. This invention made Foreman more money than he ever made in boxing, turning him into a business mogul. On March 21, 2025, George Foreman passed away at the age of 76. His funeral was attended by thousands, including celebrities, world leaders, and the greatest boxers of all time. Tributes poured in from Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and even Muhammad Ali's family. He was remembered as not just a fighter, but as a man of faith, a businessman, and an inspiration. George Foreman's impact stretched far beyond the boxing ring. He was a symbol of redemption, second chances, and perseverance. From a troubled young man on the streets of Houston to an Olympic gold medalist, a world champion, a preacher, and a successful businessman, his life was a testament to the idea that one's past does not define their future. He used his platform to inspire young athletes, guide troubled youth, and advocate for hard work, faith, and discipline. His story continues to serve as motivation for millions who face hardships, proving that with determination and belief in oneself, anything is possible. Now that George Foreman is gone, his legacy will live on in the stories told, the lessons learned, and the people he inspired. But it raises an important question. What defines a true champion? Is it the titles won, the money earned, or the ability to rise after every fall? Foreman's life showed that true greatness isn't just about success. It's about resilience, reinvention, and the ability to leave a lasting impact on the world. So, as we remember this legend, we must ask ourselves, how will we be remembered? What legacy will we leave behind? Beyond the championships and fame, George Foreman was a family man, a mentor, and a deeply spiritual individual. He often spoke about how his faith guided him through the darkest times of his life. Unlike many athletes who struggle after retirement, Foreman found purpose beyond boxing, whether it was through his ministry, motivational speaking, or helping young fighters find their way. He was known for his kindness, humor, and the wisdom he shared with those around him. Despite being one of the most feared fighters in history, he remained humble and approachable, always emphasizing that life was about more than just winning. It was about lifting others up along the way. As we say goodbye to George Foreman, one thing is certain. His story will continue to inspire generations to come. His journey from the streets of Houston to becoming the oldest heavyweight champion in history is a reminder that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great. His resilience, faith, and ability to adapt made him more than just a boxer. He was a true icon. Even though he is no longer with us, his legacy remains, urging us all to fight for our dreams, embrace change, and never let failure define us. The world may have lost a legend, but George Foreman's spirit will live on forever. George Foreman's legacy is not just written in history books or championship records. It lives on in the fighters he inspired, the young athletes who watched his comeback, and the entrepreneurs who saw his success outside the ring. His story showed that failure is never the end. It is simply a step towards something greater. Many modern-day boxers, from heavyweight champions to rising stars, credit Foreman as a role model, not just for his power in the ring, but for his unwavering determination and ability to transform his life. His influence extended beyond sports, encouraging people from all walks of life to believe in redemption, hard work, and the idea that it's never too late to achieve greatness. As the world mourns George Foreman's passing, his memory remains a guiding force for anyone facing adversity. His life was proof that strength isn't just measured in knockouts or victories, but in the ability to rise after every fall, to reinvent oneself, and to keep moving forward no matter the odds. He was more than just a heavyweight champion. He was a symbol of perseverance, faith, and the endless possibilities that life offers. And so, as we remember him, we must ask ourselves, what challenges are we willing to overcome? What dreams will we refuse to give up on? Because if George Foreman's life taught us anything, it's that the fight is never over until you decide it is. George Foreman's story teaches us one thing. True champions never give up. Despite defeats, struggles, and failures, he always came back stronger. But what about you? When life knocks you down, do you stay down? Or do you rise again, stronger than ever? That's what George Foreman did, and that's why he will never be forgotten.